Welcome to WASA Distance Education. This is PLAR English and I'm Andrea. We're on class number 12 and we actually have, let me just look at a calendar to cheat a little bit. We have 1, 2, 3 more classes after this. And some of you might have noticed if anyone's looking at the specific schedule for what I'm teaching in each class, I changed it a little bit. And that was just sometimes that happens, right? You don't always follow the schedule exactly. So I just wanted to let you know that today we're talking about assignment 25. So I'll explain what persuasive writing is all about, and then I will show you several examples of persuasive paragraphs. And then what you have to look forward to for the rest of the classes is on Wednesday, June 7th. I'm actually adding something new. I always like to add something new every now and then. And I thought, okay, well, assignment 26 is all about the different types of resumes. And then assignment 27 is where you actually write a resume. And I thought, since it doesn't take me very long to explain assignment 26, I thought that I would show you a website where if you have a little bit of an idea of what kind of work you've done in the past or what kind of work you might want to do in the future, you can go to the website and find different names of different kinds of positions and find out what those jobs would be like. And then from that website, you can get on to the job bank. And from the job bank, there's a few things you can do. You can search for a job. And then something else that I'm planning to show you how to do is how to go to the job bank and sign up and create your own profile. Why would you do this? Well, if you like the idea of using the job bank to try to find a job, and that'll depend, right? Everybody likes to look for jobs in their own way, but if you like the idea of using the job bank and you've created a profile, creating that profile will help you to find a job tailored to you and a job in your area, right? So you can, when you sign up, you will give it information, and then that'll make it easier for you to find a job using the job bank. So that's coming up on Wednesday. And then on for the last two classes, so then Monday, I get to share again the great resources that I've created showing you the steps to writing a resume on a computer. And I use just a really general kind of resume to talk about that with. And then our very last class on Wednesday, the 14th of June, we'll go through the entire practice test. So I'm a little bit excited to get through the whole test in one class. I know it can be done. Okay, so today though, we're looking at assignment 25, the persuasive paragraph, and I'll start off by telling you about this purpose for writing persuasion. So this is information from your textbook on page 54. I'll just read through what it has to say and then I will point out a few things. Purpose for writing persuasion. You have learned how to summarize what someone else wrote. Now you will learn how to persuade a reader of your opinion. Your purpose for writing will be to persuade someone of your opinion. So I just wanted to add that we talked a lot this term, especially this term, about a few different kinds of summaries. And last class, special guest Jane Antoniak joined us for yet another example of a short story summary. And we had a really great discussion, talked a lot about other things as well. But if you have attended those previous classes on summarizing and writing different kinds of summary paragraphs, then this will make sense to you. Now, earlier in the course, I also showed you just how to write a general paragraph, right? And talked about different purposes for writing. And persuading someone is one of those 4 purposes for writing that were mentioned. So when we talk about assignment 25, we're talking about a specific type of paragraph, a persuasive paragraph. So the first step, so I'm back to the textbook now, the first step is to decide on a topic. Your topic should be something you are interested in and have an opinion on. Don't choose something that you don't care about because it will be boring and frustrating to try to find proof for. So if we're talking about proof, another way to explain that is to just say that we're going to be sharing examples and reasons. So your textbook gives you a list of topics that you could choose from. Let me just read off that list. So maybe one would be that the legal drinking age in Canada should be lowered. Or another one might be smoking should be or shouldn't be banned in public places. So here, either you think that it should be banned or you think that it shouldn't be banned. Something really important to know with assignment 25 is that you want to make sure that your opinion is clear and easy to follow. So in this assignment, you're picking one opinion that you have, right? So either you think, if you like this topic, either you think that smoking should be banned, and that's what your whole paragraph is about, you're explaining why you feel that way, or you think that it should not be banned, and then your whole paragraph is about why you feel that it should not be banned, right? So you pick one in this kind of situation here. Or maybe you think that schools should be open year round. Or maybe you know of a sports team and you think that that sports team is the best. Or maybe you like this topic, teenagers should or shouldn't be given curfews by their parents, right? So this is similar to whether or not you think smoking should be banned, right? So if you think that teenagers should be given curfews, then that's what your whole persuasive paragraph would be about. And if you think that teenagers should not be given curfews by their parents, then your whole paragraph would be about that. Or you could choose a different topic, and I will give you some examples of different topics. All right, so now that you've chosen a topic, you need to create an outline of your points that support your opinion. In order to persuade the reader, you must give convincing details and support them with proof. So, I mean, if you're talking about, say, that you think that smoking should be banned, right? So maybe one reason why you think that smoking should be banned is because you think that smoking is unhealthy. So the thing is you would want to say more than just smoking is unhealthy. You would need to give an example, right? So you might say, as one reason for your opinion, that smoking is unhealthy. And then right after you say that, you would say it causes cancer. That's what they're saying there. All right, so here's an example of a persuasive paragraph that the textbook gives you on page 55. I'll just read through it and then hopefully this will kind of give you a starting point of what a persuasive paragraph looks like. Although many of us find, oh, sorry, I'll just read the title here. Now, you could put a title for your paragraph if you wanted to. You don't have to. So the title here is Fast Food. Be careful what you eat. So the title might give us a hint about what the paragraph is about, but sort of. Where you're going to find the most information about what a paragraph is about is in the very first sentence and the very last sentence. And that's because the very first sentence is the topic sentence and the very last sentence is the concluding sentence. And when we're talking about a persuasive paragraph, those two sentences tell people what our opinion is. So we start off explaining our opinion in that very first sentence. Then we give reasons and examples for that opinion in the middle. And then at the end, we remind people what our opinion is. And some of the most effective persuasive paragraphs, they remind people of your opinion, and then they also sometimes they might encourage people to take some kind of action, right? So if you had a paragraph about how you think that everyone should learn how to swim, right? Start off topic sentence. In my opinion, everyone should learn how to swim. You give a whole bunch of reasons in the middle. And then you finish off and maybe you end it something like this. So for all of these reasons, swimming is an important skill and everyone should take lessons. So see how I added on the end there? I said, and everyone should take lessons. That's me suggesting that people take action, right? I'm taking it a step further. I'm not just reminding them that my opinion is that everyone should learn how to swim. I'm also saying, now let's take lessons. If you agree with me, go take swimming lessons, sort of thing. All right, where was I? Oh, yes, I was going to read this example about fast food. Be careful what you eat. All right, here I go. Although many of us find fast food convenient when we are in a rush, it is a bad idea to eat it too much or too often. Recently, McDonald's in Canada has had the $2 deal, a Big Mac and small fries. This is a very big temptation, and even my son, who doesn't normally eat at McDonald's, bought this meal last week. But what did he eat when he ate a Big Mac and fries? First, in the hamburger, he got 570 calories, with almost half of them, 280 calories, coming from fat. 10 grams of this fat is saturated, the most dangerous kind, the kind which is harmful to our heart. The Canadian Food Guide recommends that we choose lower fat foods more often. Now, remember that my son also gets a small fries. Unfortunately, there are another 210 calories in the fries with 10 more grams of fat, 1.5 grams of it saturated. I'm sure he bought a drink as well, which adds another 150 calories, small size. Now imagine he eats this dinner more than once a week. A $2 meal contains a lot of fat. So, although it is very convenient and cheap to buy fast food, it is quite alarming to see just how much fat we are eating. I think I'll go and eat an apple instead. So, the whole point of this paragraph is to convince people that we don't want to eat too much fast food because it has bad fat in it, right? And then, in the middle talks about the specific kind of fat that's really bad and gives really specific examples of calories and fat, and that's in the middle. If we're talking about the main purpose of this paragraph, though, it's what are we trying to convince people of, right? We're trying to convince them that 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 we're saying, yes, fast food is convenient, but we shouldn't eat it very often. That's the main point. That's the opinion that this person has about fast food. And at the end, right, they're they're saying they're reminding us, right? They're saying the same sort of thing, but in slightly different words, right? Um, Admitting that fast food is convenient, just like they did in the topic sentence, but then also reminding us about why it's unhealthy. And then here's another example, right? I talked about how if I was writing a persuasive paragraph trying to convince people that everyone should learn how to swim, and I said, okay, in my concluding sentence, I added that everyone should take lessons, right? Well, here, the person is reminding people that that we have to watch how much of it we're eating because it's unhealthy, right? How much of the fast food we're eating because it's unhealthy, specifically because of the fat. But then the person's also suggesting that we go and eat an apple, right? Um, and in other words, it's sort of like saying, okay, have healthy food instead of fast food, right? Maybe have some fruits or vegetables instead. All right, so so this would be an example of a final paragraph, right? But then if we're organizing it, right, and this is what your textbook has to say, it says, in order to see how this paragraph was organized, we will use a graphic organizer. And they give you an example. So they put the topic sentence first. Although many of us find fast food convenient when we are in a rush, it is a bad idea to eat it too much or too often. And then it explains the reasons, right? The evidence to support the opinion. So the first one, a hamburger has 570 calories with half coming from fat, right? Number two, small fries has 210 calories with 10 more grams of fat. And number three, a small sized drink has another 150 calories. So these are very specific examples of just how unhealthy fast food is. And then the concluding sentence, right? So although it is very convenient and cheap to buy fast food, it is quite alarming to see just how much fat we are eating. Oh, and I think, oh, it doesn't have that very last little bit. I think I'll go and eat an apple instead, right? That was an extra little suggestion that was added on, encouraging people to take some kind of action, make some kind of change, right? And maybe it's an action or maybe it's a change in how people think, right? There's lots of ways that you could look at that. All right, continuing on. So I just wanted to go through the checklist, and this is in, I think it's in both your, I'm pretty sure it's in both your textbook and your workbook, I think. So you need to have a clear paragraph that has a logical order to it, right? So the one about fast food, right? I'll just go back to it. What I liked about this paragraph was how the person tells a story about her son and how he might go to McDonald's and order certain foods. So she has specific examples, right? But she also tells a story to go along with those examples. So in my opinion, it makes the paragraph more interesting to read. You don't have to do that, but that's just a feature of this particular paragraph. If anyone's wondering, well, if you're thinking, well, what did I like about that paragraph? Well, a little bit of a story is told, but it still has some really good specific examples to support the person's opinion. Okay, and then your topic sentence should be a strong statement that clearly states your position. And a really easy way to remember to do that is to use this transitional phrase here. I have the phrase, in my opinion, comma. You always put a comma after a transition. I've talked quite a bit about transitions throughout the course. So when we're thinking about what kind of transition we might use at the beginning of a persuasive paragraph, in my opinion, could be an easy way to remember that, okay, in our topic sentence, we need to share our opinion on something, and we need that opinion to be clear. So the person needs to understand exactly what our opinion is. Number 3, you should have 3 or more supporting details that support your position. And number 4, you should elaborate on the details you provide. So you've got reason, example, reason, example, reason, example. Number 5, your paragraph should have a strong concluding statement to restate your point of view, right? That's that reminder of your opinion, right? And number 6, your paragraph should be proofread for errors in spelling, grammar, capitalization, and punctuation. So do your best with that. You can see here when we look at the evaluation, if your topic sentence is unclear or if it's not a full sentence, then you won't get the full 2 marks. It's out of 2 marks for your topic sentence. Your content is out of 6 marks, right? So that's that reason, example, reason, example, reason, example. I'm looking for 6 sentences in total. If you have a few extra, it's fine. You only need a page for this. If you're writing something longer than a page, it's getting to be too long. So keep it to 1 page. If you find that the lines are too big in your workbook, you can take a sheet of lined paper, your own sheet of lined paper, and you can write it out by hand that way if you'd like. You can even type it out on a computer if you want. It doesn't matter to me as long as I receive your work. Concluding sentence that links appropriately to the topic. So just like your topic sentence is out of 2 marks, your concluding sentence is also out of 2 marks. Again, you'll need a full sentence, and it needs to clearly remind the reader of your opinion. So if, let's say you get to the end of your persuasive paragraph and you have a concluding sentence that has nothing to do with your topic sentence. Maybe you sort of changed your mind halfway through the paragraph about how you felt about something. Well, then you don't have a topic and concluding sentence that match anymore, right? So make sure that you've decided what your opinion is, and that you have the same opinion at the beginning as you do at the end. Correct grammar, spelling, and punctuations out of 4 marks. So there's a lot of room there, and it's because your mark will vary depending on the type of errors and the number of errors that you make. For example, I keep giving this, I've been giving this example all year, but if you only have spelling mistakes, you won't lose as many marks as if you have lots of different kinds of errors like spelling, capitalization, punctuation, um, word usage, using the wrong word in a certain situation. Correct sentences. So there are 2 marks specifically meant for correct sentences. I'm looking for full sentences that can be understood. Use of transitions. You need at least 2 transitions. And you can see that I've got this one transition that I think is really useful in my opinion. And that I think is a good one to remember if you're writing a persuasive paragraph. An easy way to end it would be maybe saying therefore, or for all these reasons, or in conclusion, or even just using the word so, right? So, uh, you know, all you need to get full marks here is at least 2 transitions. You can use more. I think the most I've seen might be, say, 6 different transitions in a paragraph. That'd be quite a bit. I don't know. I'm thinking a good amount might be, say, maybe 3 or 4, or even just 3. I'm not very picky. As long as I see 2, at least 2, I'm happy. Okay. So you want to make sure that your ideas go well together. So I've done, this is actually even another way that you could approach this. You might think about different things that you have an opinion about. And maybe you're not ready to write a topic sentence yet or a concluding sentence yet, but you know what kind of topic you might want to write about. So jot some ideas down, right? So maybe you're thinking, well, I don't like winter, and I'm going to give some reasons why. This is just the start, right? These are not examples yet. These are not full sentences yet. This is just you thinking about what you know about and what your opinion is, and just getting a few thoughts down. So maybe some reasons that I don't like winter might be it's cold outside. The fact that you have to shovel or clear snow, or the fact that everything takes longer to do. Oh, I know how great it was to walk over to the studio today and not have to put a jacket on, or change my footwear, or it was really nice. Or maybe you remember earlier I gave you the example that I think that everyone should learn how to swim, right? So maybe I already have reasons in mind for that, to prevent drowning, or because swimming is good exercise, or just because there are lots of fun water activities that you could participate in if you knew how to swim. And then here's one. So another way that you could approach this assignment would be to challenge yourself a little bit. So I am definitely not a morning person. And maybe you feel really strongly like that about something. But maybe you think, oh, this assignment's kind of easy, you know. Well, for fun, you could argue the opposite to how you really feel. I mean, this is just a paragraph, right? As long as you state an opinion that's clear, it could be the opposite of how you really feel, right? So maybe instead of telling people why, you know, we should all get to sleep in all the time, maybe I turn around and say, okay, I'm going to think this through, and I'm going to think of reasons that people should get up in the morning. So reasons to be a morning person, maybe to get more done in a day, maybe because most jobs start in the morning, unfortunately, or because if you go to work early, then you have more time for other things during the rest of the day if you don't fall asleep. Anyways, so so you could see, right? Now the benefit of challenging yourself like that is that you can see the other side, right? You can understand how other people might disagree with you. And when you're aware of that, sometimes it can help you to be more persuasive. And you'll see what I mean as I go through my example of this. Okay, so I just started off here with reasons not to like winter. You should note here that reasons to not like winter isn't very persuasive, right? So maybe I say, let me tell you why we should not like winter. That's not very persuasive because to be persuasive, it's an opinion that you need to express. And I just want to make sure that that you're writing a persuasive paragraph rather than a descriptive paragraph. So a persuasive paragraph explains how you feel about something, right? So that transition that I mentioned earlier, using in my opinion, and then using words that make it really clear what your opinion is. So maybe if I used in my opinion, I might say, in my opinion, winter is not a nice time of year, right? Or if you don't like using in my opinion, maybe you say something like, I don't like winter for several reasons. Or maybe you say, I think that winter is the worst time of year. So you can see if you say, oh, it's the worst time of year, that's really clear, right? There's no doubt that isn't a specific feeling that you have or that you're thinking of, right? I don't like winter. Or I think that winter is the worst time of year, right? Or using in my opinion. So when you write a paragraph, make sure that you share your opinion and that your opinion is clear. Okay, so once you know what you're going to write about and you have an idea of what you want to say, you can fill out the paragraph organizer in your workbook. Now, I'm going to go through this here, but I just wanted to mention, I shared some ideas with you here. Maybe sharing these ideas gave you some of your own ideas. Maybe you have maybe you agree that everyone should learn how to swim. Okay, that's okay. Think of your own reasons, right? And come up with a topic sentence and a concluding sentence that is different than what I share with you. You can write about the same topic as me, just don't write exactly the same paragraph, right? Remember, we've talked, every time I've mentioned paragraphs, I've talked about plagiarism, right? And plagiarism is if you copy what somebody else wrote, right? Especially if you copy it exactly. But you could have the same feelings as someone else. You could have the same opinion as someone else. You just need to express that opinion differently than them, and then you have your own paragraph. So keep that in mind, right? I'm sharing lots of examples to try to be helpful, and if you want to write about the same topic or a similar topic, you can just use your own words and give your own reasons. Okay, so here's what your workbook will say. It'll say, you will now produce a persuasive paragraph based on the topic you chose from the list on page 54 of the textbook or your own topic, right? So there was a list talked about smoking should be banned, for example, or curfews are needed or not needed, right? That list. Using the graphic organizer outlined below, write down your topic sentence, supporting points, and concluding sentence for your topic. All right. So wherever it says sentence, you need to write a full sentence. So here's an example of a topic sentence for you. In my opinion, summer is a more enjoyable time of year than winter. Okay, so I've used in my opinion here, right? And so I took this idea of not liking winter and I made something new out of it, right? So that's where maybe a topic that I shared with you kind of inspired you to um, think about it in a slightly different way or in your own way, right? In my opinion, summer is a more enjoyable time of year than winter. Okay, and then continuing to fill out the outline here. Um, Now it says reasons to support your opinion, and in brackets here it says point form. Point form means that you do not need full sentences for this part of the outline. Now, because I'm teaching class right now, and the, the the most important thing when you get to your final paragraph is going to be that you're writing in full sentences and clear sentences, and I understand what you're trying to say, and I understand what your opinion is. I'm choosing to write full sentences in the outline here for you. You can do that if you want, right? But you don't have to. You can just write point form in the outline. But when you write the final paragraph, make sure that you use full sentences. So I'm just going to read this out so you can see what I mean by giving a reason followed by an example. So maybe I say, right, and remember, my opinion is that summer is a more enjoyable time of year than winter, right? So summer is better than winter. So one reason, right? To start off with, it is nicer to go outdoors in the summer. Nice sentence. Now I need to give an example to go with that reason. So I need another sentence that's related to what I just said. So maybe I say, the weather is warmer and the days are longer, right? I mean, if it's cold and there's not a lot of sunlight, you're not going to want to go outdoors as often, right? So that's how they go together. Second reason, furthermore, it is easier to be active. Another good sentence, another good reason, but now I need an example to go with that. So what do I mean when I say it's easier to be active? Okay, well, here's a sentence. No more ice and snow makes it easier to walk, and no gym is needed. Okay. Third reason, most importantly, people are more likely to visit with friends and family. Then I give an example to go with that. So what do I mean? Maybe I explain why they're more likely to visit with friends and family. So maybe I say traveling is safer and food is easier to get. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's easier to get to your family and easier to bring them food, then yeah. I mean, if you're going to visit with family, I would hope that you'd get to eat some delicious food. Okay, so hopefully you understand how you need to give reasons and examples in the middle. Okay. Concluding sentence. So remember, your concluding sentence is like a reminder of what your opinion is. This is what I could say. For all of these reasons, summer is better than winter. I just circled a couple of transitions, and if anyone was listening, you might have noticed that there's more than that, but I just wanted to feature two of them right now. The one that I have with my topic sentence, in my opinion, comma, always put a comma after a transition, and then the one that I have with my concluding sentence here at the bottom, for all of these reasons, comma. I think that these are good transitions to use with a persuasive paragraph, and they might also help you remember how your persuasive paragraph should be structured, right? Start off, you explain your opinion in your topic sentence. Then you give reasons for that in the middle, reasons with examples. And then you remind people about your opinion. And to make sure that you remember to give some good reasons, you could use the transition for all these reasons with your concluding sentence, right? For all these reasons, summer is better than winter. So you could even use transitions as a strategy to remember how to write your paragraph. Okay, so then you write it all out. In my opinion, summer is a more enjoyable time of year than winter. To start off with, it is nicer to go outdoors in the summer. The weather is warmer and the days are longer. Furthermore, it is easier to be active. No more ice and snow makes it easier to walk and no gym is needed. Most importantly, people are more likely to visit with friends and family. Traveling is safer and food is easier to get. For all of these reasons, summer is better than winter. So here I've circled all of my transitions, in my opinion, comma, to start off with, comma, furthermore, comma, most importantly, comma, for all of these reasons, comma. I just have a note here. Uh, uh, my first one here, I've typed it out. And then my second one here, it's supposed to show you how you would write it out by hand and how you would indent the first word or just leave some extra space before the first word in the paragraph. So it's kind of, we'd say that it's indented. Um, and then all the other words are further to the left than that very first word in the paragraph. Anyone who's just listening might have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's okay. Okay, so I wanted to give you a few more examples. So let me just look. Yes, so I have 3 examples here. So I wanted to take uh, what I just shared with you and write it from a different perspective for you. So remember I talked about how, in my opinion, summer is a better time of year than winter, right? Um, so maybe I challenge myself to think about it the other way, all right? So this is what I've got. Although it is easier to be active, go outdoors, and socialize in the summer, winter can be an enjoyable time of year too. For starters, it isn't necessary to have warm weather in order to be active. Consider braving the cold for outdoor activities like ice fishing, snowmobiling, and snowman building. In fact, being indoors might be better than being outdoors. For example, I often enjoy reading more when I am not worrying about bees, mosquitoes, or sunburn. Lastly, the winter holidays might actually be a better time than in the summer to see friends and family. This is because many people get at least a little bit of time off at Christmas. So the next time you are wishing for winter to be over, think about the good things that the season has to offer. Another reason why I wanted to share this example is to show you that you could have a much longer topic sentence and a much longer concluding sentence. And the reason why this has happened is because I'm actually expressing my opinion in a slightly more complicated way, right? I'm in my topic sentence, I'm admitting that there are good things about summer. But then I say, but winter's a good time of year too, right? So I'm admitting one side of the argument, but then I'm explaining what I think uh, people should feel, right? So using this word although can be really tricky because you need to make sure that you complete your thought, right? So I start off, although it is easier to be active, go outdoors and socialize in the summer, right? I'm not done yet, right? I have to finish that thought. So I say, winter can be an enjoyable time of year too. So I admit that the summer's great, right? But then I say that winter can be a nice time of year too, right? And that's my opinion, right? So now you don't have to be this complicated, but you could be if you wanted to, right? And then the concluding sentence here, my very last sentence is similar but not exactly the same as my topic sentence. So the next time you are wishing for winter to be over, think about the good things that the season has to offer. So I'm reminding people that, winter's a good time of year too, right? Uh, and um, and I think I did a good enough job of explaining the paragraph evaluation to you earlier, so I'm not going to go through that again. But if you're reading the notes after class and you need to take another look at that, you feel free to do so. All right, so a couple more examples here. So the purpose of this paragraph is to convince people that swimming is the best sport. I'll just read through it to start off with. I think that swimming is the best sport for many reasons. First of all, swimming can teach you discipline and give you confidence. It is a sport that you need to practice in order to be successful, and you feel a sense of accomplishment once you learn how to swim. Also, anyone of any age can swim. Swimming is easy on your joints, which is beneficial for older people in particular. There are lots of fun activities that you can do. For example, you can play water frisbee, or you can enjoy wading in the lake without worrying, like worrying about drowning. Therefore, everyone should learn how to swim because it will be lots of fun and it is good for you. Right? So So I express my opinion, right? I say what I think about swimming, right? And I let people know that I'm going to give them reasons. Right? So that's another strategy, right? You could explain that. You could say something like this: I think that swimming is the best sport for many reasons. And then you give people a whole bunch of reasons, right? And then you remind them of your opinion. Therefore, everyone should learn how to swim because it will be lots of fun and it is good for you. So when I say lots of fun, right, I'm referring to the fun water activities that I mentioned. Um, and when I say good for you, I don't just mean good in terms of for your health, for your physical health, right? Like easy on your joints and something that older people can really benefit from, but also just the fact that it teaches you discipline and gives you confidence. So those are other ways that swimming can be good for you, right? Makes you mentally strong too. And then, whoa, these are really big letters here. I have underlined the topic sentence once, the concluding sentence twice, and I have circled the transitions. I just did that just to show you that the topic sentence is the very first sentence, the concluding sentence is the very last sentence, and you need at least 2 transitions, but here I have 4. I have first of all, comma, also, comma, for example, comma, and therefore, comma. Okay, one more example, and then I'll do a quick reminder before we go. So my purpose here is to convince people that they should get used to waking up early in the morning. So this is the fun that I had of convincing people to do the opposite of how I really feel. All right. If you aren't already a morning person, then you need to get used to waking up early. That's what I tell myself if I don't feel like waking up early. Anyways, first of all, most businesses open by 9 a.m. If you want a job, then you have to be prepared to be there on time. Also, getting up earlier will give you more time to do the things that you enjoy. Even if you aren't eager to get up and go to work, just think about how you'll have more time to relax afterwards. Lastly, if you wake up early, you can spend more time around the people you care about. I am sure that many of them already wake up early, so why not join them? For all these reasons, anyone who doesn't like getting up early needs to get used to it. So if anyone can see the screen, you can see that I've shown you where the topic sentence is, the very first sentence, and I've shown you where the concluding sentence is, the very last sentence, and I've circled the transitions, first of all, comma, also, comma, lastly, comma, and for all these reasons, comma. I just wanted to point out that I used a couple of strategies, right? When you try to persuade people, sometimes you can use different kinds of strategies. So, especially if it's an opinion that maybe you don't, yeah, you're challenging yourself, right? I mean, here I'm challenging myself to share an opinion that I don't necessarily agree with, but I still want to give good reasons for it. So if it's related to lifestyle, then with this one I'm just thinking about um, why it is that that people are that people get up early in the first place, right? And at the point about businesses opening at 9 a.m., I think that's a good reason, right? And then to support that reason, I talk about how you should be prepared to get to work in the morning, right? If you want your job, you should be prepared to be at work on time in the morning. So you have to get used to waking up, right? And then just a general thought, right? I was just thinking in general, right? Just this logical thought that, okay, the sooner you wake up, the sooner you'll finish your work and the more time you'll have for everything else, right? Um, and so and then I back that up by saying that you'll have more time to relax afterwards. So trying to convince people, get up early, get it done so you can relax. So then my last point here is, and this is a really classic way of defending this, right? Talking about spending more time with people. And then as a specific example, I say, well, many people already get up early, so why not join them, right? And you could use this with almost any kind of argument, I think, right? If you're thinking about what, say, popular opinion is, right? If a lot of people feel a certain way, um, then it might help for you to think about maybe trying to see it from their perspective, right? Um, so I'm basically here I'm suggesting that you try to join them, right? And then I remind people for all these reasons, anyone who doesn't like getting up early needs to get used to it. I hope you enjoyed my examples. So this is what to work on. Assignment 25, your persuasive paragraph, that's in your textbook, pages 54 to 56, and in your workbook, pages 51 to 53. And then I thought, well, maybe I'd remind you of my website really quickly. Yeah, we have 5 minutes here. And just a reminder, if you can't access my website for whatever reason, I do send up USBs with all the same information on it. So I'll just go to my website here. And you can see that you could have gotten the notes to attend class with here, right? This is everything that we just talked about today. And then after class, right, we'll go into this term here. After class, you can get the notes afterwards, right? And this was the class that we had just before. So class 12 will go up, just to ignore the advertisements here. And then I have this section on more resources. Spelling and grammar section, tons of spelling and grammar topics here. And then when we get to assignment 27, I'll show you this section again, the write a resume section, where you can go from step to step with videos, and you can even get all of the instructions, right? You could download a PDF and just print off the instructions. Um, and if you're curious about a special guest, you can go here. And then I have this feature where you can get resources on Dropbox. Click the link. And as long as you've gone there before, you'll just get all these folders. So class videos and notes, notes for each assignment, extra notes, sound files, spelling and grammar series, write a resume instructions, right? So that's my website in a nutshell. I did want to show you, oh, not this one, right? Oops, go back, pause. So if it's your first time following this link, then you don't need to sign up for Dropbox, right? Don't sign up. Don't sign up. Just there will be a tiny little message at the very bottom of the screen. It will say no thanks, continue to view. Click on that. You only have to click on it once and then it won't bug you anymore. And then you'll get to here, right? And you can go and get whatever you need. When in doubt, contact me and let me know what you need, and I can always send it to you on a USB, like I said. Well, I'm looking forward to the rest of the week. Remember, talking about assignment 26 on Wednesday, June 7th, then talking about assignment 27 on the 12th, and then we'll go through the practice test on the 14th. Thank you everyone who is listening, and have a great night. Okay, bye.